Hey everybody, welcome to The Mountain Gamer. Today we're taking a look at Lockup, a role-player tale, in which you will not be rolling dice nor telling tales, but it does take place in a prison, so, you know, there's that going for it. Is it a good game? Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. You don't have to watch the video. It's a good game. It's a very good game. Alright, so here I've got the game set up for a two-player game here, blue and red. So what you're trying to do in this thing is, I mean, the general concept is we both have rival gangs in a prison, and we're trying to gain the most reputation in the prison. And that's what this score track is here. So every time you see a symbol with a star like that, that means reputation, alright? So the main way to get reputation primarily is to craft these items here. So as you see, this one here has 4 reputation, this has 9, this has 19. So they range, I guess, like from 3 to 20 or something. There's a lot of variety in this deck. Okay, so the main way is to go to this room and craft these items. Once they are crafted, they will give you those points immediately, and you'll move up on the reputation track. When you get some of those, they will give you some bonuses. We'll talk about that later. Another way to make points is to go recruit these goons, these people over here. All of these goons give you points at the end of the game in one way or another. For example, if you recruit this guy here, he'll give you 2 reputation at the end of the game. He'll also get you a little book card. We'll talk about that later. This person here will give you score 1 reputation for each item you have. This guy here score 2 points for each shield valuable you have. So every time you have a shield icon, he'll give you 2 points. So he essentially now gives 2 points to himself, but he could also give 2 points if you bought this thing here, and if you have it at the end of the game. And then there's the dwarves here, and that's more of a set collection thing. So see, if you have just 1 at the end of the game, it's 1 point. But the more you have, that can be pretty valuable stuff. So that's one other way to make points. And then, just like in a lot of worker placement games, you have these sort of goals that you'll put out, and you'll pick one at random. So you've got instant goals, leader goals, and endgame goals. Let's look at, let's say, the leader here, the endgame. So see, this one here says Scrapper. At the end of the game, have the most items with a scrap cost, green cube. Well, then you'll get 8 points, and runner-up will get 4 points. Now, as I said, these are, there's a few of those, so that's just a way to randomize what you'll be doing in the game. So you'll put one out like this. You'll put a leader also, a leader goal. Let's look at this one here. Take this card if you currently have the most dwarf goons. Aha, minimum 2. So as soon as you have at least 2 dwarf goons, you steal this off the table. But now later on, if somebody has more dwarves than you, they will steal this thing off of you. So this card will sort of get, it'll move around the table, and you'll pretty much, you'll try to want to end the game with it, okay? Like I said, there's a lot of these. And then the instant goal, be the first player, let's say this one here, be the first player to have 3 gold cubes. So as soon as you have 3 gold cubes, you steal this, you get 6 points, and this one cannot be stolen off you. These instants, as soon as you, comply with what it says here, you get those points, boom. So now we know what we're trying to do, so how do we do it? Well, as you can see here, this prison has a lot of rooms, okay? You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rooms. So what you'll be trying to do is you'll be taking your guys here. Now, everyone has a cute little rack like this, okay? And they're all the same, just different colors, but everybody's got the same tokens, okay? You've got a 2, 3, 4, 5, a fist, and a lookout. So what you'll be doing is putting these guys out in the rooms because you'll want the benefit of what the room says, okay? So what you'll be doing is, on your turn, let's say it's my turn, okay? I'll take any number of my guys, and I will put them on one room, hoping to get majority at the end of the round. And if I get majority, I get what it says here. So if I have the most guys here at the end of the round, I'll get 2 blue cubes. If somebody comes in second, they get nothing, okay? Now, in a 3 or 4 or 5 player game, you actually flip the board and there's more spots here. So it might say first place 3 cubes, second place 2 cubes, and then every subsequent place 1 cube, something like that. But in a 2-player game, it's very tight. If you lose here, you get nothing. If you lose here, you get nothing. Here, you'll get a cube at least. So let's say I do this. Let's say I pick one of my guys. I'm like, okay, I like really want to go here. So I'll put maybe, I don't know, I'll go like this. And then it'll be Blue's turn. Let's say Blue is my wife. And she's gonna say, yeah, okay, but you know what? She really wants that space. So she might go this and this. Now, what is this guy with the fist here? This guy with the fist, the value here is represented by your power up here. I don't know if you guys can see that. So the more cubes you have here, the more powerful this guy gets. But for now, he's a 1. So essentially, when we resolve this room, she's got 6, I've got 5. She's the one that gets this. So we'll keep playing like this. So when it gets back to my turn, I might go like this. And then she might go like this. Now you might be saying, yeah, but hold on. If you really want to win that room, can you not just add another guy here? No, you can't. Once you've put people on a room, you cannot add people in that same room. So you got to think about that. So then maybe I'll go, actually, let me just change this up for the example here. Let's say this is what happened. And then I'm going to go like this. Now you might be asking, what is this guy with the eye, okay? Well, I forgot to tell you, but there's the concept of suspicion in the game, okay? When you put out the goons, they're going to tell you if there's some suspicious activity in that particular room. So if we look at the card here, he's got nothing in this bottom right corner, but he does. So when we put that guy out the first time, this should have gone on there. Same thing with her, and that's about it. So for now, there's 2 suspicion on the board. Now what this guy does is, if he is here, he's not going to pick up the suspicion when he takes control of that room. So what is suspicion? Well, if you wind up with too much suspicion on your thing, when this is empty, the prison will have a raid. And what that basically means is, whoever has the most suspicion when a raid is set in motion, well then that person will lose, I believe, 6 points. I think it's 6 points in a 2-player game, maybe 8 points in a multiplayer game. I'll have to confirm that. So suspicion is bad. You kind of want to avoid suspicion. But like it or not, it's going to happen, because sometimes you'll just put your guy in a room because you really want that resource, right? So let's talk about what the rooms do quickly here. Actually, let me put that guy here. Okay, so this room will give you a power cube. So you can put a power cube here to get, this guy to get stronger. And you'll get the first player marker, which is this thing. Then this room, now you will activate these in order, by the way, when we resolve everything. So you know what? Let's actually do it. Okay, so let's resolve. Okay, I'm the only one here. So I'll get the first player marker. I'll get a power cube. Then we move on to here. Nobody's here. Nobody gets these resources. Then we go over here. So she's got 5 plus 1 because her power's at 1. So that's 6 and I've got 5. So I get nothing. She would get her 2 blue cubes, put them on her board up here. I'll get into the resources later because you do have a maximum that you can keep, but we'll get into that a bit later. Now, I didn't get anything. Okay, I didn't win this room. So what happens? Well, the game has a pretty cool mechanism where it's like your guys just go moping out to the library. Okay, and when we get to activate that room, if you have people there, you'll get to draw some books here. Now these books have, funky abilities that enable you to like break certain rules in the game. For example, here, return one of your assigned crew tokens to your holding cell. So you could play this one time in the game to actually get somebody off the board and put him back in your cell. Because let's say you changed your mind, right? You want to put him somewhere else afterwards. Here, return one of your opponent's power cubes to the supply. So you could go, that guy with the fist is too powerful. I'll play this, I'll take a cube away, thank you very much. So these things break the rules and they're pretty fun. And if you didn't use them at the end of the game, they're worth 1 reputation. All right, so let's keep going. We'll go up here to the Smitty. So she's got 6, I've got 4, 5, no, I've got 4, 5, 6. This is now worth 2 because I won this thing. So the order in which you resolve creates some interesting situations. So you can plan this out where it's like, I wanted to win that room because I wanted to get that extra cube because I knew that my guy would be worth 2 by the time that we got there. So now you see I've got 4, 5, 6. She's got 4, 5, 6. It's a tie, but the first player token breaks ties. So you know what? I actually won that room. So I would get 2 gray cubes. She would go to the library. And now there was suspicion there, and I didn't put my guy with the eyeball there, the lookout, so I pick up some suspicion. Again, which is generally a bad thing. Next, we'll go here to the commissary. Now, in the commissary, the person who's first will get any cube of any color. Usually when you do this, you go get one of those gold cubes because it's the only way to get them, right? So that's what would happen. And then if there was a second player here, this person picks up the suspicion. Okay, because there wasn't a lookout there. And then for second place here, the iconography is kind of wonky here, but this is actually spend 2 of your cubes to get a cube of any color. So I could spend, I don't know, a gray and a blue or 2 grays to get, let's say, a gold. This is what usually happens here. Next, you move on to the Chow Hall. So if you're the first player in the Chow Hall, you can pay a cube of any color to recruit a goon. So any one of these guys. I know these guys seem like they're attached to rooms, but they are not. Okay, this could just be like a row on top of the table, but for some reason, they've distributed them across the board. So you pay a cube to get a goon, or you pay 4 cubes to get 2 goons. So maybe this person's gonna go, okay, you know what, I'll take this cube here because I want to recruit this guy over here, which gives me a book right away. So okay, cool, I get a book right away. Return one of your suspicion cubes to the supply. Pretty good, gets rid of suspicion. Okay. Then we move down here to the cell block. Now in the cell block, every player can have a guy here. So first, second, ... Okay. What you can do here is craft an item. So if you have the resources to craft any item here, you can just do that, okay? So for example here, if my red player here had 2 greens and a gold, well, they could just craft that thing right away. So boom, you take it, you score those reputation points, and then this is yours. And like I said before, some of them have bonuses. These icons here, there are 3 types of icons. These represent what they call valuables in the game, and that has to do a lot with some of the end game bonuses. Like it'll say if you have, you know, the most valuables with this icon, well then you get some points. This icon here means trash one of your suspicion cubes, which is good. So as soon as I buy this or craft this, I could get rid of one of my suspicion cubes. And I would make 9 victory points here, or reputation points, because I crafted that item. Now that's if, you know, if I had a red guy here, of course, I'm doing this, but I didn't have a red guy here, but I would have needed to have a red guy here in order to craft that item. Now, if we look at blue here, let's say they don't have enough of these resources to craft anything. What they can actually do is the second option, which is pay a cube of any color to lock in or reserve an item. So they could, let's say, spend this blue cube to reserve this 19-point card. So reserve means they'll put it next to their board. It's considered not crafted, but they can work on it later. Okay, there's no penalty if you've reserved a whole bunch of items or anything, but it is kind of a waste of time if you do too much of that, because you want to eventually craft that. It's nice to reserve stuff, but if you don't have time to craft it, then what's the point? So let's say she'll pay to reserve this thing because she knows that in a turn or 2, she'll get the right resources. Now these icons here, it boosts your ability to retain resources at the end of the round, because if we look at the board here, during a round you can accumulate as many as you like. Like this thing could be full up, okay, all over the place. But at the end of the round, you do have to discard cubes down to this limit. So if you had that other card that I showed you, well, this would be boosted by 2, so you could hold actually 7 items instead of 5. And then we would slide down to the library. Now, whoever's got the most people here, so first place would get to draw 2 and keep 1, and second place would just get to keep 1. So in this particular case, this is 6 to 5, so blue would take 2, keep 1, and red would just keep 1. And now the round is over, so you would check your limit in terms of resources, discard down to what your limit is. We would then replenish the items. So there you go, a 12-point item that gives you a power cube, a 20-point item, again, that gives you 2 of these shield valuables that help with endgame scoring, if there's a goal up top that talks about that. Next, we would discard this guy, so he'd go away forever. We would slide her here. Now, every time you move a goon or you put a new goon onto the board, you still have to check if they bring suspicion with them. So you see, she does. So we'll put this here. Then he would slide here, and yes, suspicion. He would go all the way here, no suspicion. And then we get 2 new goons. So we got, oh, another dwarf, and a flare, or as I like to call him, Cthulhu's brother, Mitch. There we go, suspicion. And then you move this up to round 2 and you're ready to go. So you're going to do this for 6 rounds, and then whoever's got the most reputation is the winner. But I didn't get to the fun bit, which is what turns this worker placement game into a magical worker placement game. Remember when I said that we would put our guys everywhere? Well, you can actually put some of your guys face down. What? Yeah, that's right. That changes everything. Because now there's this whole situation of, you know, if we open the game like this. Like if my wife goes, boom. What is that? Is that a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5? Is that her lookout? What is that, right? So then you're like, oh my god, what am I gonna do, right? So maybe you go like this. And then eventually she goes like this. So then you can start to work out, okay, so that's not this guy, that's not that guy, so that's maybe 2, 3, 4, or 5. So you can start to, you know, kind of figure out what's going on. Now in a 2-player game, each player can put 3 of their tiles face down, maximum. So if I've got 2 here, 1 here, that's the maximum I can do. So every other guy that I put on the board, I have to put face up, okay? In a 3, 4, 5-player game, the maximum guys you can put face down is 2. But this changes the whole game. So there you go, I think you get the idea. So you'll keep going until the last round. At the last round, there will be a raid, whether you like it or not. So even if there are some suspicion cubes left here, you'll just tally up whoever's got the most suspicion. So in this case, she does. So she would lose 6 points at the end of the game because of that. And then you would count up, you know, how high you are on this track. And then you would check, okay, did I, you know, get any of the instant goals? Was I, you know, how do I fare with this endgame thing? And am I still the leader of this particular card? You would also count up if you have any goons, like if you picked up any guys that say score so many points for whatever. You would check if you have any sets of dwarves and stuff like that. So you add all of this up, and whoever's got the most reputation is the winner of Lockup, a role-player tale. I want to mention also the game has what they call an advanced mode. Okay, in the, let's say, ordinary mode, everybody starts with a player board, and they are the same, right? You get your 5 resources, 1 power cube, that's it. But in the advanced game, you flip these over, and now suddenly this guy only has 3 resources, this guy has 4. This guy starts with a book and 11 points. This guy starts with 8 points. This guy has no power cube, this guy has a power cube. And on top of that, just to vary everything even more, you get to draw from these trait cards. So you draw 2 and keep 1. So this guy here could start right away with another power cube, so that'd be 2 power cubes and 2 gray resources. Or he could start with a gold cube and a book. And it also says start the game with 1 reserved item card drawn from the top of the item deck. So you could just go like this and reserve this. Wow, that's pretty good. I mean, it's not his yet, but he would reserve it if he kept, let's say, this one. And whichever card you take also gives you a little boost on victory points. So if he takes that, he would get 8 plus 4. So 12 victory points right away, and a power cube and a gold cube and a book and a reserved item. Pretty strong. What about this guy here? See, so right there, that give you 2 more points. So this one here, I believe this says you get your choice of one of these 3 and a green and 2 books, I think. You'd have to check the rule book to make sure, but I think that's what it says. And this guy here would give you 6 victory points, bringing him up to 17 right away. You get another power cube, which he doesn't have, a gray cube, and he would boost this by 1. So maybe this would be the smart choice, maybe. So that makes the game a little more interesting, a little bit more asymmetrical. They call it advanced. I don't know that it's advanced. I think if you play with people who are gamers, you could just start with this right off the bat. But if you're teaching the game to some, you know, some people who don't game as often as you do, then yeah, maybe go with the normal, more vanilla mode. Now the game also comes with a solo mode, and that comes with this board for the guards, as well as a location deck and a guard deck, I guess. Now the way this plays is, I'll just put this over here for the demonstration. So these guys would start with a power cube. Now you'll create this deck with a certain number of cards, okay, because they have different difficulties. You got blue, green, red, yellow. When you play on standard, I think it's these, yeah, just the green and the blue, I think. Okay, so let's say this is the deck. So what's going to happen is when you start your round, you will distribute these guys all over the prison except for the library, and you will put them face down like so, okay? Now on my turn, let's say I'm the blue player here, I will put guys in a room. Now I'll always put my guys face up because I don't have to hide any information from a cardboard AI. So let's say I do this, okay? Then it's the guard's turn. So on the guard's turn, what you do is first, you decide to reveal one of these cards. So maybe I'm like, okay, maybe I actually forgot to put a guy here. Sorry about that. So on the guard's turn, yeah, so I decide where I reveal a guy. I don't know, maybe I really want to win this room. Well then, I want to know what the information is here. So maybe on the guard's turn, I'll go like this. Okay, so they've got a lookout, which is worth, I mean, it's worth 0, but if they're the only ones there, they still win that room. Then you flip this location deck here, and it'll say, you see it says off duty. Now, if it says off duty, then it goes back to your turn. You just keep playing. But if it doesn't say off duty, it'll probably say something like this: exercise yard, which is that room. So what that means is you draw another one of these guards face up and you put him on the exercise yard. And now it's my turn. So now I know that he's got a 1 and something else, and I know that he's got a lookout. So maybe I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm probably going to win this thing with a 4. So I'll put this guy here. Then it goes back to the guard's turn. So I take a room and I'm like, maybe I should figure out what he's got over here. Or maybe I want to know right now what he's got. But no, there's no real reason of me knowing right now what's here, because I can't change how many guys I put here. So this is useless. So maybe I'd check this guy out here. Okay, this is a 0. Now again, the standard way to play with these green and blue cards, the numbers here are pretty low, okay? When you go with the harder decks here, see this guy, this would be his power, so 1, but they can win more as the game goes by. But see, we got a 2, a 3, a 5. Some have special effects, like he's a lookout, but when you reveal him, place an additional face down guard card at this location, so he brings more people in. See, here we got a 6. So you can tweak the difficulty of this deck. So I revealed this, and I'm like, okay, so we keep going for the guard, so you flip a location. Commissary. Okay, so you know what? He actually adds a guy face up to the commissary. Oh, see, I thought this room was going to be easy to win, but he's got 4 and a lookout. So maybe I'm like, okay, so maybe I should put my 5 here because I really want to win that room. So you keep going like this, and the round actually stops when you have put your last guy into one of these rooms. They don't get to go afterwards. So that's one way where you kind of see the cards coming out, you kind of get enough information, and you might just decide to say like, all right, this is getting too hot for me. You'll just go like, boom. Okay, I have no more guys. That's it. Let's start revealing the rooms to see who wins this thing. And then you would just like, reveal every room like you do in the regular game. And the guards do accumulate resources. And if the guards have someone here, they'll always try to craft something first. So if they have enough resources, they have no limit here, by the way. So if they have enough resources and they have a guy here, they'll try to craft something, making them points. If they can't craft anything, they will just reserve the most expensive item without even paying a resource, okay? So it does kind of feel, I've tried this, it feels like playing against someone who's really dumb at the game. Okay, but it does offer a different style of play. I'll talk about that when we go back up top. But yeah, so there is a decent solo mode. I think my main gripe with this thing is I wish that instead of these things being cards, they would have been tokens, because they don't sit comfortably in the spots. Like, where am I supposed to put this card? You know what I mean? Like here, I don't know. There's no square for it, right? And then if you end up putting more, I don't know. It's very messy. It's very busy. I wish they had been tokens that you just put in a bag and just blindly take out, right? But then I guess you get the problem of, if you take it out and you see what the number is, then you got to start over again. So I understand why they made cards. I guess they should have made like tiny cards or something. I don't know. It just seems very busy to me, but it works. So there you go. I think this gives you a general overview of how to play the game. So let's go back up top. I'm going to give you some final thoughts. All right, so there you go. That's how to play Lockup. So who is this game for, right? Well, I think if you've played some worker placement games before in your life and you were wishing for more player interaction, more ways to kind of mess with people, both on the board and in the mind, I think this is the game for you. Yeah, I mean, without those hidden, tokens, without that hidden information, this would be a very, very ordinary worker placement area majority game, right? But because there is that hidden information, it just takes everything to a whole other level. Because let's say, I don't know, let's say I'm the first player, right? And I'll put down, let's say, one dude face down on a room where there's blue cubes, all right? And now you're looking at this, it's your turn, and you're like, okay, he's put his thing face down in a room with a blue cube, but the items that we can craft with blue cubes aren't that expensive. So what is he doing? What is he going for? Oh, but he did reserve an item with some blue cubes. Maybe he's going for that. But he's put just one of his guys face down. Is that his number 5 guy? Like, is that the strongest guy? Is that his weakest guy? Why is he withholding that information? If he thinks that I think he's going for the cheap item, why does he need to bluff about the strength of his guy in the blue room? What's up with him? What is he doing?
Why? What's the significance? I don't know!
Now, is this a game that you can bring into family game night, Easter, something with your mom or something? I don't think so. I think this game is for people who have a general knowledge of what a worker placement game is. It's for people who have played these types of games before, okay? And they know how to deal with like I'm gonna call it a decision tree, right? Like that, this is my plan, but if it doesn't work, I can do that because I know where to get this and I know how to do that, okay? Just the whole decision tree where you have a plan, but you're always backing yourself of if that plan doesn't work, like if Timmy goes to my spot, what am I gonna do? Okay, so if you're already attuned to that type of decision making, you know, because you've played worker placement games, then you can play Lockup. Because again, the whole meta game just messes with that decision tree that you know how to navigate. Navigation trees. I'm all over the place with these metaphors. So yeah, so I don't think you can bring this in. Like, okay, for example, last weekend I had an 11-year-old kid here. Okay, little girl, super smart, loves to play games. Okay, she's like better than most of my friends at some games. Fly. And I was like, okay, I think you can get into worker placement games now, because she plays like King of Tokyo and Fast Sloths and Sheriff of Nottingham and things like that. And I'm like, I think you can handle a worker placement game. So we played Champions of Midgard, which is big and feels sprawling and all that, but at its heart, it's kind of simple, right? I mean, there's a 15-point monster, that's probably where you want to go. But if you want to do that, you need to get some food to put on a boat, and you need to get some warriors to put on the boat. So it's kind of like, okay, A goes to B, goes to C, goes to monster. It's very linear, all right? And especially in a two-player game, there's enough options where your plans don't really get screwed with that much. We played that. She beat me by like 35 points. I was like, well, okay, cool. So you're ready. So then I brought out Lockup, and she failed miserably because I think it's a little bit more complex, just in the sense that you need to figure me out. That's the whole thing. So not only was she struggling with that whole decision tree that I was talking about, but just because I had some of my dudes face down, she wasn't ready to go down my decision tree. Like maybe hers was like, okay, I know what to do, and if ever it fails, right? But she didn't think of what will Steve do, and if I mess with his plans, what will he do if that fails, and how will that impact me? So that whole thing, that's why I'm saying, if you're thinking of getting non-gamers into this game, I don't know, man. Maybe after 2-3 games, maybe. Like the first one is going to be probably a mess, and then the second time, third time, maybe, and then it's going to become like their favorite game, you know, just because it is engaging. That's what I like about the game. Now, why would you not like this game? Okay. If you are someone who does not enjoy getting the rug pulled out from under them, if you are someone who does not enjoy getting their plans screwed with, this is not for you. Of course it's not for you, because you can have the best plan in the world. I'm going to go to that room and win, and then I'll craft that item and make 15 points, and I am not going to do that because you had a purple library card that suddenly removed one of my guys from a room that I thought that I was going to win in, and you just screwed me out of a thing I wanted to build. So if you don't enjoy that, don't play this game. Right? This is a worker placement game for people who want a little bit of drama and a little bit of, holy crap, I didn't think that was going to happen, right? Or, haha, I get in your mind, I get in your head, I got you to put all your strong guys in that room. Meanwhile, what I was actually doing was going for the goons. Aha, I wasn't trying to build that item. I was trying to get like a set of ratmen, because ratmen. So that's that kind of game. As for player counts, I've played with 2 players and 4 players. 4-player game is fine, it's fun. It's tougher to get into people's minds though, because there's 3 other people around the table. So it's like, what is he thinking? What is he doing? What is she doing? What does she do if he does the thing that you know? So it becomes a little bit more like, I'm just gonna try something and try to bluff a little bit, but I can't get into all you people's heads. There's no way. But the 2-player game, that becomes pretty good, because now it's like, it's you and me, right? I'm watching your things, you're watching my things, we're in that locked space, man, and I can try to really figure out what you're doing and vice versa. I really enjoy the 2-player game, and I think I like it a little bit better, because in a 3-4 player game, you can put 2 of your dudes face down, like, right? But in a 2-player game, you can put 3 dudes face down, so that's even more hidden information. But it doesn't make it overwhelming because there's only 2 people, so you can kind of math things out eventually. So I think I prefer the 2-player game. Again, both are very good. Oh yeah, let's talk about the solo mode, because some of you might be wondering, is this any good solo? It's all right. That's all I got to say. It's all right. I mean, do not buy it just for solo. It's not, you're just missing out on so much because, again, what makes the game sing, I'm repeating myself here, is the hidden information. When you're playing alone, there's no hidden information. Why did I do an accent there? It becomes a totally different game. You're playing against the robots or the guards or whatever. So it's more of a puzzle. It's more of I'm gonna try to figure out or to math out what cards are face down, and then I'm gonna try to use my dudes to reveal their dudes. Again, it's like a little tiny Rubik's Cube of a thing. It's okay, but do not buy it just for that. I think you're gonna use a solo mode if ever, COVID-23 comes around and you wanna get your Lockup game on, well then play solo. It'll scratch a little bit of that itch. But again, I would not buy it just for that. So bottom line, if you enjoy worker placement, if you enjoy player interaction, if you enjoy dramatic moments, if you don't mind, getting your plans screwed with, then go for it. It's a great game. So there you go. That was Lockup, a role player tale. Let me know if you try it. I certainly enjoy it a lot. And yeah, let's talk about it in the comments. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I will see you guys on the next one. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the like button down below. Now, I know it seems like a very small thing to do, but it actually does help the channel when you do that. And if ever you should find yourself in a super generous mood, well, I do accept donations via PayPal. And anything you give, big or small, will help keep me going. There's a man on the phone. There's a man on the phone.